Munaim, ready?
Okay, yep. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow, wait.
Okay, just
No.
assalamu alaikum and everyone. Good afternoon to all. Thank you for joining today live session. I'm Munaim Ahmed from SGS Global Education, and today topic is second masters in the UK and full guidance, which is very important to students currently in the UK or planning to their next academic step. And I'm really pleased to welcome our special guest, Tanzim Chowdhury, a business development manager, University of Law, and he has extensive experience working with UK University and International. Tanzim Bhai.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. If you have any questions, please do keep on posting them on the comment box. A brief introduction. My name is, as you can see, Tanzim Chowdhury. Thank you, Munaim Bhai, for the introduction. I'm the business development manager at the University of Law. Now, today's session, what I wanted to do is wanted to keep it contained about academic progression, the importance for relevance, justification, and how you should go about it. And we're going to touch about the University of Law's offerings, what we are offering, the law specializations, the courses that we are offering, the campuses, and any questions basically you might have about our courses or the tuition fees. So let's begin. What I'll try to do to begin with is share my screen about a bit of a few things on my screen. Let me see. Let me know if you can see it clearly. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, bhai. Yeah, now I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Now, University of Law, just a bit of brief about the University of Law. University of Law is UK's largest legal higher education provider. Not only largest, it's one of the oldest as well. This particular presentation that I'm sharing was prepared by Alina, who is one of our senior compliance officers, who is one of the persons who will be reviewing your documentations, your profiles, everything that you submit before us. Now, regarding University of Law, even though we say that like okay, we are the largest and the oldest provider, one of the oldest provider for legal higher education in the UK, University of Law expands onto science and business courses as well. Now, as we all understand that. In terms of progressing onto the courses, you need to fill in a lot of criteria. You need to make sure that you meet a lot of requirements before you can progress onto your next course within United Kingdom. Today's session we will focus on overview of academic progression. Okay, we'll touch base on student visa and university laws policies with about the student visa, the 28 days rule, which a lot of students are not aware of, how University of Law as well as the Home Office assesses students' justification for the same level of studies, and common mistakes when which can lead to a refusal for CAS. Okay.
Okay.
In terms of academic progression, okay, the standard academic progression, which also known as a natural progression, it means the student is currently or previously or whenever they previously studied, they completed a course which is below the current course that they are applying for. So, for example, if the student is applying for a master's degree, which is level 7, previously they studied bachelor's or something equivalent to level 6 that leads to level 7, which means bachelor's to master's. Or someone has completed a level 3, A level, or foundation course, which is progressing onto a bachelor's degree, or they have completed a level 5 equivalent or higher national diploma that is progressing them onto a top up qualification. Now, apart from that, okay, there are a couple of things that can be considered, which is not necessarily a natural progression. However, maybe the student is building a career or have been working in an industry, and the student wants to study a master's degree that will significantly benefit their future career aspirations, that will significantly help them into moving upwards in their career, and they want to study a course. For example, a student have previously, let's say, studied a healthcare management course, or let's say just a normal business management course. However, for let's say last couple of years, since they moved on to a graduate visa, they've been working within a human resource capacity or a project manager, and they want to build a career in those areas. Then what we'll be looking into is to see that, like, okay, if we can offer a course to the student who that specializes in project management or human resource management, that can help them understand the bits and bobs of those particular areas. This can be considered for the students who have already completed a master's degree in a different principle, but they are working in a different sector and they want to build career within that sector, and that's why they're looking to study. So that can be looked into. Now, when it comes to student visa and University of Law's policies towards student visa, it is very straightforward and simple. Sponsorship will normally be provided to applicants who have previously studied in UK and have completed their most recent course. So let's say a student have studied a bachelor's degree in UK and they also have studied a master's degree in UK. They completed their bachelor's, didn't complete their master's. In that case, we will not consider that application. However, even if the student has studied a top-up course, or even if the student has studied just a course, and student is looking to complete their studies and or looking to study a master's degree or a top-up course in UK at the University of Law, we are more than happy to consider their application. Okay. Sponsorship will not be granted to students, as I just mentioned, who failed their previous course unless exceptional mitigating circumstances were present. So, for example, student went for an emergency surgery and they missed the deadline. Okay, and that's why they could not complete the course. With the evidence and things like that, we can look into it. Also, sponsorship at the same academic level, which we say that, like, okay, parallel movement, or we can say that, like, a student have completed a master's degree going for a second master's degree, or in general what we know as a, like, second postgraduate qualification. Those ones are looked at a case by case basis, and requires additional justification from the student that explains few key areas which I'll touch on in a couple of minutes. Sponsorship at a lower academic level is not going to be allowed. So, for example, someone who has completed a PhD qualification and now they're looking to study a master's degree, not possible. Someone who has completed a master's degree looking to study a top-up degree again, not possible. So, anyone who is going backwards, a University of Law will not be sponsoring them for a course. Now, students who are making visa applications inside UK should be aware that additional UKVI eligibility requirements should be met, and this will be enforced by the university as well. So, for example, a student who is an overstay, a student who overstayed their visa term, they will not be eligible to apply at the University of Law from inside UK. Apologies. Now, there is a 28 days rule that we all should look into. When students are applying at the university, students' new course must start within 28 days of their visa expiry date. So, for example, if the course is starting on June 9th and student's current visa is expiring on May 5th, the student cannot join the course because the total duration of the time that is after their visa expires goes above 28 days. This is an immigration rule, and that cannot be banned, that cannot be changed or in anyhow. When we are looking into how Home Office assesses an application at the same level, okay, first thing they look at is the subject matter of the new and previous courses. So if the student has previously completed a project management course and or a international management or a business management course with project management that extensively works on project management and they're applying for project management again, this is something we will not be accepting, which means that we will not be looking into accepting those students into those courses where they're just repeating their modules and the new course is not offering anything of substance for the students in order to build their career. Education and work history of the applicant. This is what I said before, that student might have studied a master's degree at a different principal, but they are working in a different sector or they're looking to build a career in a different sector. So in those cases, we will be looking into the student's application more closely to see that, like, okay, if we can offer the student sponsorship. Next comes the credibility and rationale of wishing to study the new course. So first thing, what subject? Second thing, students' previous academic and professional experience and future career. And lastly, the student's justification. This is that, like, okay, when we say credibility, we do not just mean that, like, okay, taking a credibility interview. It is to see that, like, okay, the student is not trying to find a loophole to stay inside UK, but they have genuine aspirations and intentions to study this course. Whether the university, whether the university is sponsoring the student or not, in both of the cases, we will give the student a bit of brief understanding of why we are not or why we are. At the same level, okay, if the student is not moving upwards, a student is staying at the same level, means like masters to masters, MSc to MSc, MA to MSc, or anything like that, these are all considered as level 7 to level 7. It is universities' jurisdictions to make sure that, like, okay, the reasonings are justified correctly. Okay. Lastly, when the students are preparing their justification and personal statements, apart from the things that I mentioned before, these are the key things the students should cover. One, the students' new course that they're choosing, how the course is related to the previous studies, and how this course enhances what they have studied and the areas they have worked at or where they are looking to build their career. How the new course is similar to the previous course and how it is different. So if you have previously studied, let's say, for example, healthcare management and you are looking to study human resource management, there are transferable skills, there are transferable information, transferable knowledge that you can transfer onto the new course. You need to make sure that, like, okay, you have the understanding of what is similar and what is different when it comes to studying these courses.
Okay, but just I want to ask you one thing of regarding
Mm.
this explanation.
So,
From a visa perspective, what are the key things students should keep in the mind before applying for second masters? What do you think?
so there are a few things that, like, okay, why, as I mentioned before, number one, why are they looking to study the second master's qualification? Okay, first things
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, I think I touched on it a couple of times before as well. As I said, that, like, okay, if the student have studied something and they are working completely in a different area, which is understandable that the student lacks the academic knowledge or understanding or theoretical knowledge of or understanding of that area of the subject, then it is pretty straightforward. Now, if the student have studied something, they're working in somewhere else, but they're looking to build career in somewhere completely different. Let's say someone who studied a project management course. However, they are working in a solicitor firm in East London. Now, what they're looking to do, they are seeing last couple of years they have been working in an admin role, and they are seeing that, like, okay, how successful they can be in the legal industry, or they have developed a keen interest in the legal industry, and that's where they want to build career in, or they are looking to become a solicitor. Okay, let's say
Okay. Yeah.
in UK. So in that case, they can apply for the MLO conversion course or MLA SQE course to become either a barrister or a solicitor to move on to that pathway. So they can justify those reasonings that, like, look, I have studied this before. However, I've been working in this industry, even though not in the similar capacity as my aspirations, but I'm looking to become a barista. In order to become barista, I need to do the conversion course. Then I can go for the bar practice course, and then I can apply the bar to become a barista. So that is a route that they can follow. Okay, even
Okay.
though it is not a progression, level 7 to level 7, it is parallel. But what it is showing is that, like, okay, it is showing that, like, a student's curve is going this way, and then it has a potential to go upwards that way. Okay, so
Okay.
this kind of things that needs to be looked at. Second thing is students' previous studies and the new studies. What did the student study before? Okay, what are they looking to study now? And how the things are different in the new course, that where the knowledge gap was in the previous studies, and how the new course is filling in those gaps.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Right.
the last bit to understand is common areas that leads to a caste refusal or a sponsorship refusal from the University of Law. So we're looking at the courses, as I just said just now, that the new course is very similar to what they have studied before. Students studied a international management with project management, and they're applying for MSc project management with professional practice at the University of Law. The modules or the contents in the module are very similar. Okay, no clear. Even though the contents are not similar, and student is applying for something different, but the justification statement, personal statement, none of that clearly explained how the new course shows an academic progressions, or the new course is filling in the blanks for those gray areas, or those gaps in their knowledge, in terms of the area where they want to build their career. Their career plan is not clear. So you are saying that, like, okay, I'll study an MSc project management course, and that course is going to give me a lot of opportunities in the industry. There is
Yep.
no clear indication of what opportunity you are looking at, what job role you're looking at, and why this course is something that will help you to build that career. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and another thing, okay, if you are changing the subject area, as I said, that, like, okay, gave an example of someone is looking to study in the legal industry, building a career in legal industry, or let's say, even if you are doing that, but you haven't explained it in your justification statement or personal statement or in your CV or anywhere, we cannot see the links in there. That can lead to a sponsorship refusal as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, any questions?
Okay, that's by we have a lot of questions because we're education consultants, so we face a lot of questions from students. So if
Mhm.
I mention firstly, so could you tell me with eligibility law? Now let's talk about eligibility requirement. What you said regarding non-background. So just previously 2 3 days ago, I faced one of the students. So what his question? He has done their bachelor in CSC, okay, and masters in IT background like that. So
Mm,
now he willing to apply for the business course. So
mm,
if he can be apply, or is any obstacle like, or he need to be any
mm.
experience or any relevant job experience? What do you think?
So, can you repeat the question again? Sorry,
About
I missed the
okay,
first couple of
okay,
bits.
okay. But the question is that the student has done their IT background, like the CSC is
Mm.
bachelor
Yeah.
and master's also IT background. So he's
Mm,
willing to apply, wants to apply for the business course. So is he can
mm.
apply for this background, or he need to be apply their own
Yes, they
background like
can.
IT
They
background?
can. So, let me give you an example. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say I'm an IT professional, or I have studied in computer science and technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from University of East London. And what I'm trying to do now, last 2 years, I've been working in the IT industry, or let's say I have been um, developing something, or I have been working as a store manager or something like that in the IT industry, IT sector. And
Mm-hmm.
now I want to start my own business. So I have an idea about starting a business, selling IT products. It can be as simple as that, selling hardwares or developing softwares and selling my softwares to the highest bidder, or things like that. There can be a lot of different reasonings, right?
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
what
That's great.
let's say I'm lacking is that understanding of business principles, that how to run my own business, how can I be successful in the business industry, the keys. key areas that I should look into before I start my own business so that I don't fail and things like that. So there is a lot of gap in my knowledge in order to before I can start my own business or before I can join the business industry as a corporate. And you find a course that fills in those gaps. You can look into the modules. Our website has clear details about all of the courses that we are offering, okay, and which
Yeah.
modules we are offering. So this will clearly explain that like okay that like okay, why the student should study this course, and the student can look into all of that and see that like okay, these are the areas I need information about and this is the course I'm going to apply for, okay, and they can
Okay.
definitely apply for that.
Okay, but and then one other main key reason is that, or key point is that now, could you please tell me what is some common mistake students should avoid before applying for university for second masters?
Common mistakes if they are not understanding why they are doing, if they are just applying to extend their visa, number one,
Okay.
that is something that is not going to be helpful for them. Because if you have studied something and let's say, let's take an example here, okay,
Yeah.
one of the mistakes. Let's say the student have studied any course and last 2 years they've been looking for jobs and they have not got any job, they have not received any sustainable job offers or
Mhm.
any actual job offers, and they're just working. They're working in a restaurant as a delivery person, as a taxi driver, as an admin personnel in an office. It can be any kind of role, but that is not what they're looking to do. Okay,
Okay.
that is a successive story that like okay, I cannot build my career in that industry, I want to go there. Now if the student does not understand that like okay, I'm in there, I'm going to go 3 4 days to the university a week, the other 2 3 days all I want to do is just work, make some
Mhm.
money and sleep, that's not going
Okay.
to work. So
Yeah, exactly.
each of these courses have significant academic and professional demand, right?
Yeah.
So the student needs to spend a certain amount of time in the university campus. They will have to do a certain amount of guided independent studies. They will have to spend a significant amount of time building their projects, building their assignments, building up to their dissertation, final dissertation submission in order to become successful in there. So the student needs to clearly understand that part first. Okay,
Okay.
are they ready to commit um, academically? Second part that comes in, it's not something that we talk with that gets talked about a lot, but the financial side of things as well. Okay,
Hmm.
so studying a postgraduate qualification in UK, um, it's not necessarily the cheapest option in a sense. I'm talking about UK as a whole. Now, even though they're like, okay, if you see that like, okay, there is significant change that is going to happen in your financial stability,
Hmm.
financial situation, then you should consider again that like, okay, is this the best option? Is this where you actually want to build your career in? Because, for example, most of the universities postgraduate tuition fee varies between 15,000 to 26,000 within that.
Exactly.
Whether the course duration is 1 year or 2 year or 3 years, it doesn't make a difference. But that's the amount you are committing to pay. Now, if you see that, like, okay, I can make a payment of £10,000 right now, but I am not sure where the next 7,000 will come from or 8,000 will come from. Uh,
Mhm.
you should make a plan first, okay,
Okay. Okay.
before applying.
Okay.
Next thing comes in, if you have completed your previous studies and you applied for a further leave to remain on any of the grounds, and your further leave to remain application is still pending at the Home Office,
Hmm.
you will not be able to apply from inside UK. We will not accept your application. You will have to leave
Okay.
the country and then provide us with an evidence and apply from outside the country for a successful sponsorship application.
Okay, wait, that's great. So, dear audience, if you have any questions, you can write down comment box. Our guests will be answered the one by one. And Tanzim, by that I need to be more clear. One thing regarding students, you know that most of the students coming UK for MSc International Business Management,
Mm.
International Human Resource Management, HRM, like that course. So,
Mm.
can you suggest specifically how student can make a strong course selection when he wants to apply for second masters, if I mention, or first masters for as a career oriented?
This is where we go back to again.
Yeah.
So when a student studies a bachelor's degree or a master's
Mhm.
degree, Okay, a student has an idea. A lot of times, students study their bachelor's in business management. A lot of times, it's peer pressure. A lot of times, it is, oh, that's a easier course to apply
Yeah.
to. Okay, there is a lot of different vague reasons. Now, but once the student completes the bachelor's degree and they are looking to apply for a master's degree, okay, the student is not a teenager anymore.
Okay.
At that time, the student has certain maturity. They are around 20 plus is their age group. So usually we see the student's age is between 20 and 30, sometimes a bit higher, but usually that is the age group we deal with when it comes to international students applying for their first master. Now, if the student does not have enough reasoning, yes, if the student does not understand what they're looking to do, okay,
Okay.
right now there is a AI bubble going on, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all they want to do is just find a course that has something to do with artificial intelligence, okay, but
Okay.
they don't have any interest or any knowledge about what it is, how it works, how it relates to their career aspirations. They shouldn't choose that course in the first
Yep.
place. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, someone who is looking to build a career as a professional within the IT industry, okay,
Okay.
and they want to work as a product manager or a project manager,
Mm-hmm.
and they know that like okay, skills and knowledge about project management is going to be very helpful in their career.
Okay.
Even if they are IT professional, they are more than okay to choose MSA project management as one of the graduate qualifications to study. And if that's what they want to do. Now, when I said that like okay, IT project managers are not only in IT sector. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
There are project managers in financial sector, project manager in legal industry, project managers in civil engineering and um, architecture fields as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when the students are applying for these courses, okay, first thing they should understand before they even think about which course I want to apply, the first thing they should ask themselves is what career I want to build.
Okay, but that's a great suggestion. We are at the end of the sites, but do you want to say something like one minute for the last time?
Now, what we are looking to do is that there are a couple of things I wanted to touch on quickly.
Mm-hmm.
University of Law has more than 15 campuses in UK. Um, we run a lot of campuses as our own, and we run a lot of campuses in partnership with our other university partners. Now, apart from being in the main cities like London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, we are in other smaller cities and towns as well. So all you have to do is just to make sure that you are following our website about the courses and the campuses that are available. Our next courses are starting in June, second week of June. So we are still accepting applications for students who are applying for the law courses in May, June, July. We are accepting applications from students who are looking to apply for the upcoming September and January intake as well. Um, our courses are designed in a way that focuses on career expectations and students to build their career within that sector. And University of Law proudly offers an employment promise to most of our postgraduate students who meet the requirements as well as who successfully complete the course. An employment promise means that, like, if the student does not get a job within the first 9 months of their graduation after filling in all the necessary requirements, we will pay them their money back. So part of that money will be paid back, and part of that will be paid as a credit towards any other course they will study at the University of Law. Now, this kind of shows our commitment to students, that you study with us, you follow our guidance, you follow the requirements, and you will be in your career within a set amount of time. If we look at our records, more than 92% of University of Law students, graduates, get into full-time employment within the first 15 months of their graduations. So when we say we are offering an employment promise, this is not just a selling point or not just something that we are saying for saying sake. Um, this is something that we believe in, and this is something that proudly promote. So I'll suggest you all to get in touch with STS Global Education if you have any questions about University of Law or course offerings, whether they are business course, law courses, or science-related courses. Apply immediately, do not delay. As your visa application process, the pass process, the compliance process, that can take between 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, the
Yeah.
faster you apply, the better it is. Sometimes this time duration is even longer.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tanzim bhai, for sharing such a valuable insight. To our audience, if you are planning for for a second master's in the UK, feel free to contact us for STS Global Education. Our office is Forest Gate, Romford. And also preparing guidance for profile assessment. Don't forget to like and share and follow our page for more update and live session. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.